This is my very favourite one from childhood. Saturdays, I used to go on this tram with my mum and my dad because my dad always said trams are for fun and buses are for work.
Oh, I like that. Oh, your dad was clearly a man of some style then, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, so ladies first.
Okay, thank you, sir.
So, welcome to this second episode of Tram Chats. Last time we met Frank, who had his wonderful memories of riding the old trams on the Marton line and Dickson Road line and the Living Route. And this time we have a special star, Shirley. Hello, Shirley. How are you?
Hello there, Paul. I'm
Brilliant,
fine.
brilliant. Now
Fine.
you have a unique advantage over a lot of people because not only do you have these wonderful memories, but also you are a tour guide here
I
at
am an
Tramtown.
accredited tour guide, yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. So how are you finding the tour guiding at Tramtown, Shirley?
I absolutely love it. And the funniest thing is, I remember coming here on your behalf at the beginning saying, oh, can volunteers come and help? And I ended up, after weeding, do you remember?
Oh yes, gosh,
I
when
was
we first
outside doing the
started.
weeding,
Wow.
and then I thought, oh, I'd love to do the guiding, and I absolutely love it, Paul. Because when you see the people's faces, and they go on their favourite trams, and sometimes they're quite wet-eyed, they've met on a tram or, met their first sweetheart. So it's an honour to do, actually.
Yeah, yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I found it's not a tram project anymore. These are like time machines into people's memories, aren't they?
And not only that, we really are in love with our trams. We all have our favourite trams, and each tour guide gives a different guided tour, which is good from a different perspective. So they're always that little bit more interesting, each one.
Yeah, yeah.
This boat tram's a favourite of mine because, as I said, I went on it with mum and dad, and we'd go down and we'd have to get there very early in the morning to get a position on the sands because then the sands were absolutely full up. And my dad always said they were for fun.
Yeah.
So Saturday mornings, it was the Marton line for me.
Wow.
So on a Saturday morning, I'd go with just my dad. My mum didn't go, and I'd get on at the Oxford. That's on the Marton route.
Yeah.
So I'd get on there, and I'd get on at the most wonderful tram shelter. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of it.
Yeah, from what Frank said, it did have a
Absolute,
toilet in it and some
it did.
real mod cons.
But what happened was, I mean, I can describe it. It was like lattice work, and it was wooden, and it had like a funny bottom to it, which echoed at the bottom, and it was all wood. And what my dad would do, because he didn't want mum to know, he'd put his bets on in there. So there was a fella sat in a corner, and this is true, everybody. He had a pipe, and he'd have this hat on, and he'd take all the men's bets. And I would have to tap dance because of the sound, because I was at tap dancing class, and I got sixpence for it, and that bought my ice creams.
Wow. Wow. That's a good way of getting ice cream as
Yeah, it
well.
was a good way of getting ice creams. But it was so lovely. And I mean, it's so sad that all these things have had to go. I mean, the Martin line went right through to my first marriage. I was always using those trams.
Yeah.
But I got on at, I'm trying to think of it now. Can't think of the stop. It's the one after the Oxford anyway.
Okay, yeah.
And I
So it's
got
like
on,
sort of Waterloo Road
it's
area?
Waterloo
Yeah.
Road. And can I share my first memory?
Yeah, please.
Right, I was very tiny, and in my family, one of my uncles was a train driver, and the other uncle was a tram driver. And in those days, it was really special to be a tram driver. And I used to stay over at my auntie and uncle's, and he'd have his suit all pressed on the doorway, hung over the doorway. And my auntie used to polish the brass buttons on his
wow.
uniform. And even up to courting days, if you went out with a tram driver, oh, your luck was in.
Really?
Yeah, and so anyway, it was Christmas and my birthday's Boxing Day. So that week, my dad had arranged, and I was very, very tiny. I know I was only tiny. And I went on a tram on the prom, and he took me to Fleetwood, and I was in the cab. Now, you imagine me in the cab like that, wobbling around, and then him yanking the brake on and everything. And then he'd open the window, and it was snowing, and the snow blew in. And I went, oh, like that. And he said, oh, don't. He said, it's confetti. That's how romantic. Isn't
Wow.
that a lovely
What
thing
a
to say?
great imagination your dad had, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, other memories I've got of the fish run.
Ah, right.
So this isn't my memory. This is my mum's memory, but she remembers going on my uncle's tram, and he'd go all the way to Fleetwood, and the chaps in the depot would put their orders in for fresh fish, and it would stop near the fish shop, which was across from the what do they call it, where they get the docks.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And she'd actually get loads of fish for them, and she said it stunk the tram out, but that was the fish run.
Oh, I can imagine.
But can you imagine that? That's how down to earth everything was. None of this health and safety.
Yeah. So they were literally carrying freight in effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the
Gosh.
fellas because everybody was friendly, and of course there was more staff than now. I mean, I remember coming in here when I was a little girl, and it was the paint shop was always full. Isn't it strange now?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I'm glad that Paul, you and Brian and all the rest of the people have got this going, because people have to see them now, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all guilty of taking things for granted. And there comes a point, though, in any conversation, you realise, actually, if we don't do a bit more than take it for granted, we're going to lose it. And you and the team have been amazing in turning that around. And it's on a journey with a great future.
Yeah, and it's just bringing. One person came in this morning with his wife. He said it's the best £5 worth you'll get in Blackpool coming round this.
Yeah, yeah.
And he booked it about a month ago, I think.
Wow.
And he'd come all the way from down south somewhere. So isn't that wonderful? They're coming from all over to actually come and see it. Whilst you've still got these trams.
Absolutely. So unique, isn't it? So unique.
It's unique, yeah.
And sometimes I'm guilty of this. I do take it for granted. And it's only when I hear that I go, actually, it's special. It is
really,
special.
Really
so,
an interesting place to be.
Absolutely, yeah. So in terms of the Marton route, did you ever get to see the tram depot on the Marton route?
Oh, yes.
What was
that
like?
Right, so when I was caught, I met I've got to say this, everybody, my first husband on the tram coming back from the ice rink. And I was so enthralled, I left my ice boots on the tram. But in those days, it was funny, if you could ever probably some of the people you interview might relate to this, but it was called the ice skate tram. So we'd all get onto the Marton tram, was down to South Shore, get off, go to the ice skate and get back on a tram and come back. And often or not, we'd all lose something on the tram. So what would happen is you go in the day after, and there was a big tub at the Marton depot right by the doorway, and there'd be a fella just there, and he'd say, what size? Are you skates or are you hockeys? And it was as simple as that.
Wow.
It was so simple, and you just get them. And it was magical. And the awful thing is that often when we all crammed on, with it being a middle doorway, and that conductor's trying to get the fares, often, I don't know if I was even guilty of whizzing off before you paid your fare, which was a bit naughty.
Shirley, I'm sure we'll let you off, and anyone checking the data.
Yeah.
So whereabouts was the ice rink?
So the ice rink is where the pleasure beach is. It's in the
I see.
pleasure beach
Right.
there.
Yeah, got you.
And we go down there, and you'd have beat nights and disco nights, and it was all part of our culture. But the tram was so important. As a child, it really was an important part of our lives. Nobody wanted the buses. You always wanted the tram.
Yeah. It's interesting, Shirley, that you talked about choosing a tram over a bus, because similar things are happening now with people, how they choose to travel. If there's a choice between a tram and a bus, they generally will choose a tram. There was obviously a lot of debate in the sort of late 50s and early 60s, obviously, when they closed the routes. Do you remember any of the discussions involving the public of the town?
Oh, it was an outcry. It was an absolute outcry for the Marton people. I know we've got buses served Marton, but it was so easy on a tram. And I can't explain it. Unless you're on the Marton route, you'd know what I mean. And it was very quite idyllic and rustic, going round Whitegate Drive. Then you could get into town and you just hop off the tram, and it's it's just totally different than going on a bus, and I can't explain why.
Well,
It just must be the heritage.
it's funny in the background you can hear a tram moving.
Yeah.
The sound of them
Yeah.
is unique, isn't it?
And it's lovely because we used to love the clickety click, clackety clack. And even now, and I've got to really speak on this because it's really important. I know Jane Cole's been really super, very involved with bringing the heritage back and creating this position for us. And even now, I see it with when we go on a heritage tram. I'm always on them. If you go on them, the staff is so pleasant.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've even got the themed ones now. We've done the fish and chip one, which is excellent. Everybody wants to go on the top deck of the balloon. And it's still being promoted throughout. And really well done on the internet because you're getting so many people come in. It's really special.
So just going back to the Marton route and that time that it closed, my understanding of Marton is it feels like a village in its own right, and it's got its own culture, and it's very proud of that. And trams, you just associate, obviously at that point, Whitegate Drive, the tree line streets, the trams, almost like a suburb of Melbourne. For anyone who's seen a suburb of Melbourne, you know what I mean. But it must have feel like part of its soul was being taken
Well,
away.
it's funny that because originally it was Marton and Little Marton.
Right.
So it's always had some kind of detachment to town. But I think the Marton route, because it's round in a ring coming round, it was just so special. I mean, you could get off, hop off, and get down to Stanley Park so easily. You can't on a bus.
No.
Totally different. I don't mean that derogatory, but it's not as simple as it was.
Yeah.
But lots of lovely stories from the trams because it's a special part of your heart. It's Blackpool, isn't it?
It is. Yeah.
You know, and I'm even that passionate that I have my own little heritage teddy bear, which is Elizabeth. And she goes with me everywhere. I love her. That's my kind of thing.
It's funny to say because I think that's one of my first memories of meeting you was with a teddy, and a new teddy came along with the high vis on and so on.
And it's funny because the people here that were on the tour this morning, some of them are booked up months in advance. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
You know, and the children, that's one of the best parts. To me, I'm very passionate about children coming to see this because it's tailored for them as well. As you know, Paul, they'll bring one of the illuminated trams out. The kids can sit on it, do the hooter, and they're being introduced to it. It's not just about the past; it's about our future, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The kids, getting them whilst they're young, really.
Yeah. Oddly enough, one of the reasons why I've always known we will deliver the Tramtown vision that we have for it is because of that tradition. You just stand here and it's so powerful a force. You just think, yeah, we'll be fine. This is just too powerful.
But you have done marvellous. And it's funny because every one of us wears the yellow gloves, don't we? We all help each other.
Absolutely.
And every one of them has got memories of their own, even if they're like relatively new memories. But I know when my uncle was so proud of being a tram driver. You've no idea. He used to bustle with pride. And he had his favourite clippy with him. And when you think about those times when they had the machine, it was all heavy, and she'd have to deal out with all the the tickets that you had. It was just a lovely era. It's just the smells, like you say, and the sounds of the time. It's an honour, as I say, to be here. It's lovely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Shirley. Thank you. And do you remember much about the other lines in Blackpool, the Dickson Road or the Living Road?
Yeah. I've travelled the Dickson. It sounds Dickson line. It sounds funny, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I've travelled the town routes, all the routes around Blackpool. I mean, it's just so sad. I mean, one of the good lines to me was going to Fleetwood, because Fleetwood, and it still is to everybody, isn't it? But the market was really busy then, and the trams would be heaving. And I remember queuing up, really long lines of queuing up when they had not the Wakes weeks, but the holidays coming from Glasgow and places like that. Those trams were always full. Thank God we've still got them.
Yeah.
It's an important part of our heritage, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Shirley. And the route obviously diverged at Ginn Square,
Yeah,
So and then it would, where the roundabout is, it would go
yeah.
across, I believe, then up.
Then up Dickson Road.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was that like going up a hill in Blackpool?
Well,
Must have been.
it's all it's the sounds really and the different trams that you're on. I mean, the Marton trams were the vanbacks, and those are the ones I remember. But I remember being very tiny, like I said, in that getting on at the Oxford, and I can't remember, and I still can't remember what kind of tram it was, but it was really old. It must have been a standard, possibly.
Yeah.
But I remember sat on my dad's knee, and he used to have fun with us, jumping up and down because it was so clunky and clanky,
Yeah.
hard to get onto as well, but not as a kiddie. But they still draw the crowds into those standards, don't they?
They're,
And
yeah.
another funny point was, because I'm a heritage guide for Blackpool, for many other uh, buildings, etc., I'm a promenade tour guide, and we were waiting to be tested for our next assignment. And we were on the front, and we were by the, what's it called? I can't remember. The Imperial. We're all waiting there, and what should come out was like manna from heaven. Up comes a standard tram.
Oh wow.
We were over the moon, the red and white one,
Yeah.
red and cream, that's in the workshops now. And it was like, and everybody was just cameras out
Yeah.
straight away. And
Yeah.
that's what they do, don't they?
They do. Because it's so unique, isn't it?
And it seems sad as well when we're giving the tours, like how many trams have gone, how many trams we had,
Mm.
and I've got a special spot in my heart, not that I would have ever met him, is Walter Luff. His modernisation was fantastic, wasn't it? 5 years of getting all those balloons,
Yeah.
and how he modernised the fleet, and even looking around the fleets now in front of us, I know that you, the camera, can't see it, but each balloon is quite different, aren't they? How they've
Oh,
evolved and modernised them.
absolutely. What I'll try and do is get a clip of that,
Oh yeah,
and we'll add it in,
Yeah.
so you can see what Shirley's just explaining. Because you're right, they're all
Got
unique
their
in
own
their own right.
personalities.
Yeah, haven't they just?
Yeah.
Your partner John is forever explaining to me
Yeah.
this, all the different nuances.
Yeah.
And at first, I just saw a balloon tram, and there's another balloon tram, and then you realise, no, they are different.
No, they're all different, and it's funny because when you were getting rid of when we had to get rid of them, obviously, and you got rid of the what's it called? I can't think of it. Paul Price Busters tram.
Oh yeah.
And to see it, how it was, it made me cry from
Yeah.
what a beautiful tram it was. I've got a fabulous picture of it. It doesn't sounds a bit daft, that, doesn't it? But I mean, it was just single rail coach. But looking at it is just, when it's in here and the damages it had over the years, and thankfully it's been preserved, isn't it? It's gone off to a museum.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to be getting rid of them where they get broken up. At least they're going to other places. But we are, and as soon as the 710 comes, we'll all out with our cameras, won't
And
we?
we're starting to bring some back,
Yeah,
finally, which is great, isn't it? And I think that's, again, one of the core roles of what we want to do at Tramtown is preserve the collection, and gone are the days when we are losing trams.
And also, another thing is, I went on, it's a few years now ago, and we had a wedding on a tram, one of the balloon trams, and it was magnificent. They all wanted to go on the tram. The girls, they just wanted to go on the tram.
Yeah.
It was like a hen night thing, on a tram. But I mean, it's excellent, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
What they can do.
I went on a Princess Alice, which is, for those that don't know,
Yeah.
the open top double decker.
The open top one, yeah.
A friend of mine had a birthday party on it, and balloons on the side. You've
Yeah.
got these rails here, you can attach balloons on. It was so much fun, and it felt like you were connecting with everybody walking on the pavements. It was, you just couldn't do that on any other form of transport. It's an incredible form of travelling around.
And it's like when we went to Crouch or any of the other museums, and you see one of our Blackpool trams, it's like, I want it back.
Yeah. It's so telling, isn't it? That Blackpool has so many different types of trams, and both in quantity and quality, that they're in so many different places. We've got a huge collection here.
Yeah.
Yet there's another collection all over the place, isn't there? As well as those that were destroyed.
Well, another thing that I'm a bit passionate about, if I can mention it, is just the workshops. When I first came here, it brought back the memories of a little girl and coming into the workshops, because obviously my uncle was working on the trams. But all that stuff from the 1920s, 30s, still there. The blacksmith shop I absolutely adore. It's still used, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's obviously out of use, and we can't take the public round now. But it was it. They would just go up at it and think, "Good grief, all this stuff that's still here." You know, like the tire pressing machine,
Yeah.
and explaining that yeah, they have tires, but they're metal tires, and all that. It's just the heritage is. I'm just so glad it's still here, and
Yeah.
we've still got that make, do, and mend, haven't we?
Oh,
Paul?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You can't buy these on eBay
No,
anymore. These
no.
parts. No, absolutely.
And just explaining about painting, it's one man painting them and they're hand painted. And if you get close to one, I don't think you can see the brush strokes.
No,
They're
no.
beautifully
Oh,
done, aren't they?
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it just oozes quality, doesn't it?
Yeah, it
It
does
really
do. Yeah.
does. Yeah,
But
it's incredible.
but going back to Martin, nobody has any idea if you're not a Martin person how much it affected us. We were absolutely heartbroken. Isn't it funny? It was like friends going.
Yeah, yeah. I can
And the
imagine.
Martin depot was lovely. Tesco's is there now. The one of the walls is still there actually.
Yeah,
One of the walls that supported it. But it was such a happy depot. And all the guys used to talk to us. It's funny, isn't it? All the memories that come back to you.
did you ever
And
go in?
I
Inside?
went in the depot
Did you?
loads of times, yeah.
Wow. What
But
was it like?
it was not as big as this, obviously. Um, it was quite a nice building, actually. And I just remember the big dad saying, "For God's sake, get away from that," because what you the pits, the kiddie.
The irony, you became a safety stewardess at
Yeah,
one point
yeah,
in
isn't
this.
that
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
that now? Yeah,
yeah.
my dad would laugh. And he would just, hang on here, and what's that, Dad? And I'd keep, I was always nosy, like, as a kiddie. But yeah, we were in and out there. It's funny that because you could go, just not like here. There wasn't any special things put up for health and safety. I
Ah,
don't remember anyway. All I remember is my dad holding my dad's hand or mum's hand, going in to speak to all the friends he
yeah.
had, and it was so. It was just like going to a next door neighbour's. I know it sounds
Yeah.
rather bizarre,
No,
that,
no.
but
There is a unique culture in tram depots, isn't there? There's certainly this one. It's quite a
oh, they're
friendly
so
place.
friendly.
You
They're
sense
lovely.
it. Yeah, I can imagine the same then.
Yeah, and my dad remembers all the painters had they just had their name, like there is now Bob the Brush.
Yeah,
Uh, is it Bob the Brush? I think it is
yeah.
Bob the Brush. And Brian the Brush, that's it, Brian the Brush. And they all had special names because there'd be so many names, so many Johns or
Ah,
so many Bills and that. But I always felt privileged. And the funniest thing is, the first time I came in here after such a long time, I was doing a degree at a university degree, and I had a friend, and Howard who works here,
yeah.
and Howard said to my friend, "If Shirley and you want to come round, I'll show you round. I'll then introduce you to Brian." And we've been best friends ever since.
Ah,
And I came to meet Brian. We had our picture taken, and I just said to Brian, "Please don't change it. We met in the workshops." And I remember, and it's so funny, it's not there now, but the cabinets, the fellas keep the stuff in cabinets. And there was page 3 girls,
oh, yes,
and
yes.
all that. And I thought, you've got to keep that for posterity, haven't
Yeah,
you?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. We have to close people's eyes for any younger visitors if we
Yeah.
kept them up. But yeah,
But no, and it's still, it's just lovely. I can't,
yeah.
I,
Have you been to Smith's Hire? Where the Tesco and the old depot is. Have you ever been into Smith's Hire?
no.
Because if you do get chance, pretend you're
Right.
going to borrow
Yeah.
something or hire something rather. You'll recognise the tiles in the back of it.
Oh,
Half
right.
of the building is the remains of that depot.
Smith's Hire.
Yeah, Smith's Hire, which is at the back of
Right.
Tesco's. So obviously Tesco's
Oh,
had
yeah,
the
no,
front half,
sorry, I have, yeah, yeah,
and then at the
yeah,
back half you got Smith's Hire. And I was amazed because we did some working at height
yeah.
courses, so we had to go to Smith's Hire to work on these cranes. And I was amazed. I was like, oh my gosh, I recognise those tiles. They're the same tiles that we've got
And
here.
yeah, the white
tiles.
tiles
Yeah,
that the guys have all cleaned, yeah,
yeah, same
yeah,
setup. But they've got these beautiful columns in the middle of the building.
yeah,
Almost sort of thing you get at a
yeah,
Victorian train station. So there are still some elements that remain, and I suspect they just fill those pits in.
Yeah, yeah.
There's probably still bits of track
Oh,
that's
I'm
got
sure there
covered
would be,
over.
wouldn't there? There's often different bits preserved, isn't there? I mean, when they come round, the visitors, they say, "Oh, God, why are you keeping all that?" I said, "Because we never throw anything away. You
Yeah,
don't, do you?"
you just can't afford to throw it away. Yeah,
No, because everything has to be remade.
yeah,
And I mean, I remember my uncle saying that, and I remember him as a special treat. It was my birthday, and I went round and we went to my auntie's. We were there a lot, and he'd bring the chocolate biscuits out and some ghastly tea. I can't remember. It was really black. I've no idea what it was. And he'd be there, stood there, and she'd be fussing him and getting him ready. It was like as if he was a king.
yeah,
Isn't it
yeah.
funny that? But they
Uh,
were really, really important, as they still
yeah.
are, I'm sure.
I think there's a lot of pride. You can see the pictures I've seen of that depot. Big
Yeah,
corporation crests,
yeah,
really meant something
yeah,
to the town to have it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a sad loss, and especially those tram shelters, because there was one at the Whitegate Drive as well, and I've got a lovely picture. It's on the internet. It's for anyone to see. That I would always quote. Who's acknowledge the person who's taken the picture. But they were so unique, and I'm sure there were loads of dealings going on, and they had seats rather like these all the way round. And it was like a meeting place. It was always warm in there as well. I remember Frank saying it when I was talking to
yeah,
Frank, the
yeah.
last person you interviewed. And it was like a community. It's so odd, isn't it, how things change?
Oh, absolutely. Because things became very functional, didn't they? You could see that on some of the buses and some of the trains, and we lost a bit of style somewhere, didn't we? And even the shelters.
Well, even when we look at the different, like we were saying about the balloon trams, because they're to me they're very important because they're all in different stages of modernisation, and we've got one near enough preserved, which is going to be done up, isn't it?
Mm.
Can't remember the number of it, sorry. But it's down at the bottom of the depot, and that's still got the original seats in. It's got some of the original windows, and they're amazed when they look round. They say, "Oh, is that no? Those are windows that have been put on, modernised, and probably cut back price
Yeah,
wise." But just to know that you're preserving it is
absolutely.
wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, massively so, massively so.
And do you remember that big when we had that Jane Cole had organised? What was that day when we had 90 people?
Yes, yeah, big numbers, weren't
They
they?
were big
Yeah,
numbers, and they came, and Jane was bristling with pride, wasn't she?
yeah.
It was. It really is an ongoing project here, and thank God we've all got our memories. You
It,
know?
it's crucial. I think that's why we want to capture these memories as well for the future, because they become a guide, don't they? They remind the future generations. Somebody in wherever you are in the future will be watching this. Will go, wow. So this Martin
Yeah,
line was real. We did have inland
yeah,
routes,
yeah.
and if we've had them in the past, there's no reason why we can't have them again.
And it's so funny because we know one of the reasons why the Marton route stopped is because of the health and safety getting on and off
Mm.
trams. But you know what? It never bothered us then, did it?
No.
Isn't it funny? But of course, people will argue, well, we've got more trams and buses going along, but it never bothered us then getting on and off the tram. And like I've got some lovely pictures that I do show to people, just so they can see, because they see them static in here, don't they, Paul?
Yeah.
But to see them as we've seen them as children or as adults, what it was like when you got on a busy Martin line. You know,
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm looking forward to when we open our next tram extension up Talbot Road sometime this year, and seeing a heritage tram go up there. How that's going to sound, how that'll make Talbot Road feel different.
definitely will, won't it?
Yeah.
I mean, though, when we've had the celebrations on the promenade, how many people turn out? There's
Gosh, what
hundreds
a
of
day that
thousands,
was,
I think, don't
wasn't
they,
it?
turned
Yeah,
up.
yeah,
That was really good, and just to do more of that, really.
yeah.
But
Absolutely.
everyone that comes, I don't think there's anyone has ever said they haven't enjoyed it.
No, no,
And
absolutely.
they want to know more, and then you get the tram enthusiasts who they want the numbers, and all that, which is great. And the good thing is we can show them special ones at the end of the tour, can't we? And just say, well, we'll take you and show you and get on the tram. Um, But the memories I've got, and it's always a little bit of me feels, I just wish it was still there.
Yeah, yeah.
It was still going on, and I'm sure many other people feel like that.
I suspect, and it's not the same council as the one in 1961, 62, 63, but I know they probably do as well in terms of we're now talking about an electric bus
Yeah,
fleet, and when you think what an electric public transport
yeah,
network we did have once. Fortunately, we kept the promenade, the
yeah,
Stargate to
yeah.
Fleetwood, but yeah, it's
And
what a loss.
yeah, and it's like we've got the 11 miles of tramway, and thank God we've got it on the prom, because surely it would have probably fizzled out if we hadn't have had it on the prom for health
Yeah,
and safety, wouldn't we?
yeah.
And the amount of people that get on the heritage trams in the summer, and they all want to go on this.
Ah,
Don't they go
oh
on the
my
boat
word,
tram? Yeah,
absolutely. Everyone wants to go on a boat
yeah.
tram in the summer. Yeah.
And when the kids come, they all want to drive the tram,
Yeah, absolutely.
don't they?
And they all think this, you probably can't see it, but this is the steering wheel. It's so not the steering wheel,
No,
is it?
no, but that they think it is, don't they?
Do you want to put the viewers out of the misery? What is it, Shirley? Go on. Is it oh sorry, do you know, oh sorry, it's the brake.
Yeah,
That's the thing. If you
yeah,
see anyone start turning that, you
yeah.
know
It's
you're
a
in
break.
trouble. That's it, that's the brake.
But yeah, and it's very. And when you think back, it wasn't till the 1950s when they actually got the windscreens.
Yeah,
So right
yeah.
until that
Wow.
time,
Yeah.
they didn't
Gosh.
have any wind. Can
You
you
were
imagine
eating
no protection
you were
at all?
eating flies then,
Yeah,
basically
eating flies
driving
or
this.
snow or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's quite a big tram as well, isn't
Oh,
it,
it's
when you think
huge.
about it?
Huge tram, isn't it? Yeah. Huge tram.
And even
Um
when you get in here and you become a guide, you learn more and more about the different trams. Um, like the Coronation Tram. I mean, that's one of its on its own. Um, and it's just a joy, and you're learning off each other.
yeah.
And everybody, it's just, I don't know why, but when you're taking a tour guide, when you're taking a tour around, everybody just seems to enjoy, and they might be coming in, the legs have got problems with the
Ah,
legs,
yep.
and
Yep.
we get a chair for them, don't we, when we
We
can,
do
health and
look,
safety
look
wise,
after them, yeah.
and we get them on a tram, and they don't care, and they've done 1.5 hours of trotting around, and I don't think they know they've done it.
No, they should
You know?
prescribe us on the NHS.
Yeah,
It's a great workout,
probably
isn't
will.
it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
good idea.
absolutely. But in a way, though, that yeah, it brings back your youth, your happier memories of people no longer with us.
And it's funny because I know you're interviewing other people, and one of my uh, tour guide friends, she's actually was on the Marton route. She'll be telling you a different story, which is excellent
Yeah,
because everybody has a different. I
absolutely.
mean, my place of work was at first it was at Leighton, so I was going to Leighton, getting to Leighton by tram. I never used the buses, isn't it funny that?
It's
And
very
into
telling.
town was great,
Yeah,
and of course you could get off right in the middle of, right outside the Winter Gardens and the church and all that. It's such a shame that that's
yeah.
sort of gone. But
I'm sure the Winter Gardens would say the same as well. They
oh
would love to have
yeah, it
had a
was
tram stop
fabulous that,
outside.
yeah.
Yeah, now.
And
Yeah.
straight on right round. And I mean, we tell people about the ice cream tram, the
Mm.
Walt ice cream tram, that they actually had a tram that served ice cream. I mean, how bizarre is that? And a post office one, didn't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
There you could
yeah.
post. I mean, you wouldn't even dream of it now, would you?
I suspect one day we'll have a restaurant tram, judging by
Possibly, yeah,
how much demand there is to eat fish
yeah,
and chips, but it's very hard when it's on your
yeah,
knee. So imagine the one with tables and so
yeah.
on. I've seen them in Australia. So to wrap up, Shirley, what would you say is your favourite memory of the trams? What in
I think my favourite memories, it's got to have been when we were doing the ice skating, and it was like it was like a big gang of us. Everybody knew everybody going down there, and we'd all leap on from different stations on our way down there. And we were friends with the tram driver and the conductor. Oh, and I do remember once getting stuck on a tram in the snow. It was
oh
horrendous.
gosh, wow.
Yeah, Rectory Road, that's where I got on and off.
Yeah.
And we just stopped and we all had to pile out. Luckily, that was my stop, but didn't have a snowplow on because I know
No.
we've got one here.
Yeah.
But these
Yes.
things happened, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember, and this is terrible, all snowballing the conductor and the driver. Isn't that awful?
I think they call that antisocial behaviour now,
It
don't
was,
they?
yeah, I think so, yeah, as
Absolutely.
a child. But yeah, my fond memories are, I think that's the most favourable because it was such a happy time. And we
Yeah.
were just kids, and the trams, it was always the trams.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely. Yeah, the real moments of your life were
Yeah.
defined
And
by
I'm sure
running
each one
tramway.
that you interview will say the same thing. It's
Yeah.
part of our childhood, isn't it?
Well,
And thank God, we can relate it to you, and then it goes on to someone else in the future.
absolutely, isn't it? Yeah, that's really helpful actually. Thank you. And if you would like to tell your story, I'll put a link in below of how to contact me, and it can be about the past or the present or something that matters to you about the trams and why you love them, and we'll then be able to capture that story. So huge thank you to you, Shirley.
Thank you.
And thank you for all you're doing. And Shirley is available on some of our tours, so you'll see Shirley many times. You'll also see Shirley at the windmill as well, because
Yeah,
you're
the
very
windmill.
involved with
Yeah,
the
Little
windmill.
Marton
And
windmill.
we're going to organise a big
Yeah,
tram
and
town visit,
also I've
aren't
got
we?
to mention that on your progress badge is Little Marton Windmill Sales at the
Yeah,
top.
absolutely. Well, I suspect it's not just trams that Blackpool's discovering again. With the price of energy, we're probably going to
Yeah,
see a bit of wind power
yeah,
coming
you
back
may
as
do. Yeah,
well. So the past guidance for the
yeah,
future. But thank you again, Shirley.
yeah. Thank you so much,
Shall we
Paul.
go
It's
and have
been
a look
great.
at some balloon trams?
Yeah, let's go and do that.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Brilliant.
thanks.
Excellent.